The suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's show was not the first time that Donald Trump has attacked free speech, and it certainly won't be the last. And unless we call this what it is, we will have failed to meet the moment. This is Donald Trump putting in place a permission structure to go after all speech. It starts with Jimmy Kimmel, and next it is me and you. Donald Trump wants to make sure he can censor anyone speaking out against this regime, that he can punish anyone willing to criticize him, and we cannot allow that to happen. Not only do we have to fight back, we have to make it clear what is happening, and that is exactly what Barack Obama just exposed with a post calling out, slamming, and making clear what Donald Trump is doing right now and how he is going to fight back on behalf of Jimmy Kimmel. We're getting into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into what President Barack Obama had to say and how he is fighting back, I want to start with the stakes being laid out in this fight by Senator Chris Murphy right here.
The shooting of Charlie Kirk was a national tragedy. It should have been a line in the sand, an opportunity for President Trump to bring this country together, to do whatever is necessary to stamp out political violence that's targeted both Republicans and Democrats, political violence that emanates from both right-wing and left-wing radicalization. But Trump and his lieutenants are choosing a different path. They are choosing to exploit this tragedy, to weaponize the federal government, to destroy Donald Trump's political opposition. They aren't even hiding what they are trying to do. President Trump himself has publicly threatened to arrest members of the Soros family simply for funding groups that oppose his agenda. Laura Loomer, maybe the most influential outside advisor to the White House, called on Trump to be a dictator and lock up and silence his political enemies. And last night, they showed us exactly how serious they are. Trump's FCC forced a major network to pull a loud Trump critic, Jimmy Kimmel, off the air, essentially saying that any media actor that doesn't say what Trump wants them to say about Charlie Kirk or Trump's policies is going to be silenced. That's censorship. That's state speech control. That's not America. Trump is making it 100% clear that he is going to ramp up his efforts to use the power of the federal government to harass and punish his critics, not because they're supporters of political violence, they are not, but because they have the audacity to openly oppose his policies.
Not for a single second has Donald Trump mourned or thought about Charlie Kirk, his family, or Turning Point USA. Donald Trump has exclusively thought about how he can weaponize the death of Charlie Kirk for his political gain. He is not trying to lionize his friend. He does not want to cast a close buddy of his in this shining light because he thought so highly of him. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about Charlie Kirk, and he never did. He exploited him while he was alive, using his movement to help get him elected. By the way, it's why J.D. Vance is so upset, because Charlie Kirk wanted him to be president next, and all Vance cares about is that ladder, climbing up as fast as he possibly can, willing to exploit anyone. That is what it is happening right now. They want to exploit this moment, and now they're using it to go after speech. Donald Trump made it very, very clear how far he's willing to take that when he said this right here.
Look, that's something that should be talked about for licensing too. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump, that's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something, somebody said. But when you go back and take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that. They're an arm of the Democrat Party. Thank you, everybody.
The President of the United States is saying that networks can't criticize him. He is saying that liberal networks for years have done nothing but criticize him, and that is not allowed. It is, in fact, allowed. But let's take a step back and talk about this lie that the media is all liberal. For a while there, the biggest podcast in the world, were Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and Joe Rogan. Fox dominates cable. Are you seriously telling me the media is honest brokers in the way that they've let Donald Trump get away with murder for years? Absolutely not. It's why new media and independent media is so important, and it's why we have to fight back against Donald Trump's crackdown on free speech, which is exactly what Barack Obama is doing with this post right here. President Obama wrote today, after years of complaining about cancel culture, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators it doesn't like. Obama continued, this is precisely the kind of government coercion that the First Amendment was designed to prevent, and media companies need to start standing up rather than capitulating to it. It is not even that media companies are bending the knee to Donald Trump in the face of painful and difficult scrutiny, pressure from the government. What we saw from the FCC was a podcast appearance by its chair in which he said, yeah, we don't like what Jimmy Kimmel is doing. Maybe you guys should do something about it. That is in essence what he said. And they immediately folded. I ask the question, what is the point of being a network executive, a CEO, a founder of any of these companies, and like Zuck, Bezos, you have the fuck you money, tell Donald Trump fuck you. They don't. They are such whiny little, I hate to use the word, but they're whiny little bitches. It's what they are. And they're shameful. They're so sad. How do you have all this power and you're just a suit? You're just a guy falling in line. It's what we have to make very, very clear, that these people are never, have never been, and will never be on our side. They're never going to be on our side. We have to stop treating them like they're good faith actors. When the Democratic administration, the next one comes in, and sure as hell better be in 2028, I don't want any playing nice with Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, Elon, Larry Ellison, none of these guys, Sam Altman. I don't want that. They are there to exploit us, to exploit me and you for their billions of dollars. They do not have the best interest of the government in mind. They don't have the best interest of the company in mind. Hell, Elon Musk isn't even from here. Do you think he cares about America? For as much as Elon says he worries about the West and Western culture, he is not the story of an American, an immigrant coming to America who cares so deeply about this country. And that's something I do believe. I think that people who come to this country care about it a hell of a lot more than people who have taken it for granted. The Republican voter saying that some immigrants coming to take their job, you fat slob, you can't do your job. If you're a Trump voter. I know that's a broad generalization, but like that's what these people look like. That's what they are. I hate to say it, but it's true. And we have to say the things that are true at this point because they want to crack down on all of our speech. Donald Trump said it. If you criticize him, he's willing to go after you. And they've picked very select words that they blow up at. And we saw that today when Rashida Tlaib got into a literal screaming match. And of course, her screaming was justified with Byron Donalds, who was throwing himself a little temper tantrum over the word fascist. Take a listen.
Or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is expired, but
Mr.
Mr. Chair,
nice.
but you all live here,
Mr.
and
Lee.
you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our nation's capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's insane that the gentlelady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my colleagues.
Mr. Donald,
we were from the Third Reich. This is insane.
You're going to look at 14, 15-year-olds as a bunch of criminals?
It's insane.
Oh,
do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting card.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and a lot of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it
It's
goes.
okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold
Washington,
myself
D.C.
accountable.
Mr.
Hold your own self accountable. How about that? Hold your own self accountable. How about that?
Free D.C. and make sure you vote with your own voting card. Don't be giving it to somebody
Ms.
else.
Tlaib, all right, time. Chair recognizes.
This appears to be a new campaign by the right that they want to say the word fascist is now a slur. Crazy, right? They want to say that fascist is a slur. You can't call them fascists. You can't call them Nazis. Do you know who the first person to call Donald Trump a Nazi was? It was the guy who's the vice president right now, J.D. Vance. Do you know who else really loudly, publicly, emphatically called Donald Trump a Nazi? And it made a lot of news. I'll tell you, it wasn't Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris saying that she thinks Donald Trump is a fascist. She thinks that Donald Trump sympathized or respected Hitler. Do you know why she said that? It wasn't because she had like kind of this gut reaction. She's like, do you know what? I've done a lot of thinking. I've observed. Kamala Harris said it because Donald Trump's own generals said that. They said that he had reverence. He had reverence for Hitler. That he was himself a fascist. That he wanted to shoot protesters in the legs. This was not some novel term that the left is somehow like put together in an effort to destroy Donald Trump, which if we wanted to, clearly didn't work. That language didn't land. It should have, considering how true it was. But no, these are the people around Trump, Republicans, who were in his administration saying this. And now they want to get all bent out of shape because we are repeating the words of people who served alongside this man? It's insane. But this is what they're willing to do. This is how far they are willing to go in suppressing our speech. They want to dictate the words that we can and cannot use, the platforms we can and cannot operate on. I myself do not use TikTok regularly, and I'm glad I don't because it seems like a pain in the ass. And I have friends who are creators over there. They can't even say the word Epstein. I can't even imagine if that's the case on YouTube. Like, imagine that. Imagine if I wanted to make a video about Donald Trump and his cover-up of the Epstein scandal, and the very platform in which I existed on, by the way, TikTok has lots of ties to Donald Trump, as we know, wouldn't even let me say those words without completely suppressing my videos. That is the state that we are in right now. It is why independent media is so important. It is why we have to build up these platforms. It's why we rely on y'all. Like, we can't do this without you because the platforms want to keep us down. I just think all platforms want to suppress political content in this moment. It's why we have to be louder, and it's why we have to band together even more. We are certainly going to be doing so on this show every single day. We are going to be calling out the attacks on free speech because there is only one person as of late. Well, there's two. There's Jesse Waters, but Brian Kilmeade is who I'm thinking about, who should lose his job because we saw tragic and fatal shootings of homeless encampments after this man said to euthanize them this week. That is a person who should lose his job. I have a petition that's going to be linked below to call for Fox to fire Brian Kilmeade. This is the type of pressure that we need to put. I'm going to be fighting back. I hope you are as well. If you want to support the work in doing so, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and drop a blue heart in the comments. As I've been saying, you can check out my interview with Governor Wes Moore if you need a little hope. And as always, keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I will see you soon.